Now you don't have to sift your powdered sugar, but this is a very smooth icing and I suggest it. It's just something I do that's an extra special step. Let's make this icing. This is a decorator icing and it has a Crisco shortening blend. I do use Crisco, I prefer it. We're making a double recipe today, so I'm using a cup of Crisco and a whole teaspoon of almond extract. Not flavoring, but extract. And you cream both of them in the mixer. We blend, we scrape down the sides. We blend, we scrape down the sides. This is a little bit of an intensive process. Now I just added a half a cup of milk and I'm going to blend that in, and if you let it go for about 4 minutes in the mixer, it will accept it. And it'll make it easier to accept the powdered sugar. But just in case, I do have a handy dandy muslin towel to go over the mixer. I'm adding a little bit more milk to it. I eventually add anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup before I add my powdered sugar. Now that is a whole entire package of 32 ounces or 2 pounds of powdered sugar. I just added another 1/4 cup of milk on top of it, and I'm going to pulse it. Stop and go until I see it accepting the powdered sugar, and I'll just put the muslin towel over it and let it go on low. Now I decided to show y'all something. I just added a little bit more milk. Probably it's too much, and I want to show you what too much milk will do. It leads to limp icing. We don't want any limp icing, so we're going to add a half a cup more powdered sugar. And we're going to blend that back in, and I'll show you what consistency we want to end up with. We do not want limp. We want it to stand up like that. Okay? And when you've achieved that, you're ready to put your icing on the cake. Let's do it. Now this is Wilton tip 1D as in David. And we're going to take that tip and we're going to ice using the smooth edge side in strips, one beside each other, skipping a little bit of cake space in between. And once we do that, we're going to gently use an offset spatula and carefully spread it one way, turn it, and spread it back the other way. And it'll smooth it out just fine for these party squares or cake squares. Now here's an interesting part. We're using waxed unflavored dental floss to actually slice this cake into pre-sliced cake squares. And I go half on one side, and then I'll split that half in half again, and then I'll end up splitting those two pieces in half again. So we end up with 4 rows on one side, and we're going to do 4 rows on the other. Then we'll come back the long way and go to the middle and then slice it into thirds for each half remaining. There's a third, and we're going to flip it after that and do the other half into thirds. So we end up with the 6 by 8 pieces of little mini cake squares. And then I'm going to take some icing and finish icing the sides. This is just simpler because if you use it, if you slice it with the dental floss, when it's all completely iced, it makes such a mess. Then I just kind of smooth it out the best that I can because, you know, they're going to look at the pretty decorations, not, you know, how unsmooth something is. And it's going to be fine. I go back and I make little indentions to help me and guide me making my decorations on top after I finish everything. But I need that icing even a little bit more stiff for the decorations because I want the leaves to stand up for the little hollies that I'm going to make. So I added a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to what was remaining, and it's very stiff at this point. It's standing up very well. So we're going to add the colors, and I've got Wilton Christmas Red here. And I'm using a forest green for the green. And you just add a little bit. That was a new one, so I had to use the knife I used. Waste not, want not. And I'm going to need to add some more because it just isn't quite red enough to suit me. But here we go. And it does make a mess. You will have to wash your hands after handling the red, definitely. And here we are with the green. And you don't have to mix the green quite as vigorously. It will mix in the icing tube if you've got some little bits of white to it. But we're going to use a writing tip. And we're going to use the leaf tip. Now take care in cutting the tips of your pastry bags and make sure that you leave a good portion to hold it, because as you press, if you get it towards the end, it will press out, and that's not fun. I call that a blowout you don't want. So we're going to add the green icing to the one with the leaf tip in it, and I'm just going to practice here on the edge of the bowl a little bit. Now I've done something I want to show you that's a no-no. I have overfilled this bag, and I don't want you to do that, but if you do, I'm showing you how to save it. Fold it like a package, first in and then over and over and over, and then fold that double, and you don't want it as you press to come back out the end. That's just a little secret I learned the hard way. So we're going to start making one directional holly leaves and turn it and make a second leaf. And at the end, we're going to make a third one. So we've got 3 holly leaves in 3 different directions. And then I'm going to come back with the little red writing tip and make 3 little Christmas berries right in the middle. And I think they're turning out pretty nice. What do y'all think? Well, then I had the bright idea to do the wreaths. And you have to do a circle, then you come back and you make the spiky leaves all the way around. Then I decided to add some powdered sugar with my little sifter, and I added a little figure 8 red bow. And I think they turned out pretty nicely. And I don't make party squares for people. I just don't. They're not my thing. Can I make them? I think so. What do y'all think? But do I want to? No, I don't make party squares because that took about 4 hours from start to finish. I'm going to show you what I do make. I make mini cupcakes. You can see the size difference. And I have 3 mini cupcake pans that holds a recipe of cake batter that I make. Look up my yellow cake recipe on my video list, a moist, delicious yellow cake. And it fills them up. There's 24 times 3. And we're going to bake them in the oven at 325 for about 14 minutes. Let me show you the dashers that I use. I have 3, and you can see the sizes 20, 40, and 70. That's for cupcakes, that's for cookies, and that's for my mini cupcake batter. And also I use them for sausage balls. I would highly recommend getting a set. They're time savers, I'm telling you. But I'm just showing you, we did 325 for the oven temperature for 14 minutes. And this recipe is forgiving, but when they spring back up with a light touch, they're ready. Take them out and be careful, but I get them out of the pan, and I've got a granite countertop, and it helps everything cool well. I just let them cool on there, then I transport them to the containers that I'm going to take them to the event. And now we're just going to make one recipe of the, the decorator icing with the Crisco. Did y'all get old too? I had a moment. But anyway, I'm just going to gently fluff the icing onto the cake in a little swirly festive pattern. And I'm going to add 3 dots in the middle. I'm going to put the berries first, then I'm going to add the leaves. So I'm doing them right opposite. So I just did one in one direction, one right beside it. And there we have festive, holly adorned mini cupcakes that would adorn any table and make a festivity much more festive. Are y'all going to make these? Thank you so much. God bless you. Merry Christmas.